Hello fellow collectors, I hope you're doing very well. Today I thought I'd take you through some of the pickups I've got over the last couple of months. I've added quite a lot to my collection during April and May with some great sales that I've been on and quite a few non-boutique releases too. But instead of going through everything, I thought I'd just take you through just a quick selection of the titles that I was most excited to get. The first one is now a bit of a bittersweet title, as it's Columbus from Network, which is a British boutique label that has now apparently gone under, which is just such sad news for us all. I've only been really getting into their releases in the last maybe 6-ish months, so to see them close after I think 25 years is just an incredible shame. Columbus itself is one that I've had my eye on for a good long while now, and it was in one of their recent sales going for a lower price than I've ever seen before, so I absolutely snapped it up. I saw this one when it came out in 2017 and I remember thoroughly enjoying it, so I've been really keen to revisit it, particularly after watching White Lotus Season 2, which also has Hayley Lou Richardson starring in it. If I remember correctly, this one is a walk and talk film, and one with some great depth and solid performances from both Hayley Lou Richardson and John Cho as well. Next is another one that's been on my list for ages now, and it's The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp, a Powell and Pressburger film. So far I have loved every film of theirs that I've seen: Black Narcissus, The Red Shoes, and A Matter of Life and Death. So I've had my eye to get this one basically ever since seeing those. I did toy with the idea of importing the Criterion version, as I'm almost certain that I'll love this one, but in the end I just went with this £6 Blu-ray. There is also a now out-of-print steelbook of it that was available in the UK, but it now seems to be fairly rare and a bit pricey in good condition. Either way though, I'm delighted to have this finally and very much looking forward to finally seeing it. Then we've got Invention for Destruction by Karel Zeman, who hopefully his name I'm not butchering. I picked this one up in the Arrow sale, as they always have third window and second run on sale on their website during the Arrow sales as well, so it's a great time to pick them up. And I've been keen to get into some second run titles for a while now and sort of dive into that label. This one reminded me so much of Wes Anderson and Terry Gilliam, who I guess must both have been very inspired by the work of Karel Zeman. I had a really great time watching this one, and actually such a great time that I immediately bought the other two of his films in Second Run's catalogue, which is the fabulous Baron Munchausen and Journey to the Beginning of Time, which should both hopefully be as much fun to watch as Invention for Destruction was. Next is this Roberta Rossellini and Ingrid Bergman box set from the BFI. This is yet another one that I've also had my eye on for quite a long time now, but as it is out of print and was limited to only just 3,000, which you can see there, it's been quite hard to find for a reasonable price, but thankfully I managed to track down a copy from Rare Waves. Granted, it does look like it has had some shelf wear, but I guess it must have been sat on a warehouse shelf for years at this point, so not too bothered by that. I watched Stromboli Land of God a couple years ago, and it was such an interesting and thought-provoking film, and really unlike anything I'd ever seen from Ingrid Bergman before, and also my first Roberta Rossellini title. And since then, I've really wanted to get this box set, just to explore more of the collaborations between them. And then we have yet another box set here. We've got the Merchant Ivory box set from Curzon Artificial Eye. In a similar vein to the last one, I saw just one film, Howard's End in this case, actually fairly recently. And since then I've been really keen to get this box set to just explore more of the films from Merchant and Ivory. Howard's End was a wonderful period piece that had a really compelling story that really captivated me. And so I can't wait to see what these other films have in store. Then next we have my favourite film that I saw in 2021, that actually came out in 2018, One Cut of the Dead. I do like my zombie films a lot, and for the most part anyway, with some notable exceptions. But this one is an absolutely joyous watch, and it's one that I've been wanting to pick up pretty much since I saw it. So again, another one that I got during Arrow's April sale. Even if you're not really a zombie film fan, I would highly recommend this one. Don't let the cover fool you. And then we've got a big box set here of 8 films from Bertrand Tavernier, a filmmaker that I'm not at all familiar with, but I've had my eye on this set for a little while now since it was released last year, based purely on the strength of the other Studio Canal director box sets that I've got, all of which I've absolutely loved. I did watch a couple of videos on the director and looked up the films, of course, before I did buy it. And I also absolutely love Isabelle Huppert, who you can see on the front cover here. So hopefully that's a good sign that I'm in for a real treat with these films. I also managed to use a £5 voucher I got, so managed to get this one for a little bit cheaper, which is never a bad thing. Moving on, we've got The Woman in the Window. This is one that I actually caught on Netflix a couple of Christmases ago. And again, it's another one that I've been wanting to get my hands on a physical copy ever since, really. It's a fantastic film noir directed by the legendary Fritz Lang, a director who really I'm just trying to get as many of his films as possible. This one stars Edward G. Robinson and Joan Bennett. I had a great time watching this one. It's a dark, engaging and thrilling ride. And here's hoping that Eureka kind of get out of their slump with the Masters of Cinema collection that they seem to have been in for a while now, and really start to put out some more again. And it would be amazing to see some more excellent film noirs like this one. And then we've got onto something a bit special. Rust and Bone. I don't think I'll even try to pronounce the French title of it there. This is yet another one that I saw some years ago, and possibly even the one that sparked my love of French cinema, truth be told. Though I guess I must have seen Amélie prior to this, as this one did come out in 2012. I have here the plain archive edition of it. And this particular edition has really kicked me off into buying up a few more plain archive titles as well, as it's absolutely lovely, and we'll get onto a couple more of those later on. I managed to get this one for an absolute steal, under £20, in an auction on eBay that clearly no one else was interested, which I was delighted by, of course. I had a great time rewatching this film, again mesmerised by the stunning performances by both Marion Cotillard, who you can see on the front there, and Matthias Schoenaerts, who hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, which you can see on the back. This one is another title that was on my honourable mentions list for April. Then we've got here the first 12 releases from Radiance Films. I ordered the first 10 from them back in September last year, and I didn't realise at the time that my order would only be sent to me once it would be complete. So I've been patiently waiting for the release of Red Sun, which I think was the last one till I could get my order through. And I just jumped on May's releases on the strength of other people's reviews of the other titles, which were The Bride Wore Black and Big Time Gambling Boss, both of which I'm very much looking forward to getting into. So far, I've only seen this one here, She Dies Tomorrow. You can see I've got the Obi strip on the inside. Not too much on the back. I quite enjoyed this one, really. Somewhere between, I guess, a 3 and a 3.5 out of 5 for me. It was one which I was seeing getting some quite strong reactions, with some people really disliking it. And I don't know if anyone else is like this, but that sort of thing, or like polarising reviews with some loving it and some hating it, make me so much more excited to see a film, because you know the filmmakers have done something that little bit different with it. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to getting into the rest of these, particularly Welcome to the Dollhouse, which I'm very excited to check out. And then onto the last stack here. The first one is Donnie Darko. I'd been wanting to revisit this one for a few months now. For some reason, it's just been on my mind. And so I actually bought the 4K, just a standard edition from Arrow. But I'm very sad to say that it had the same frame rate issues that I'd heard about from the limited edition release that they put out quite a while ago now, well over a year, I think. Anyway, I ordered a replacement, but unfortunately it still had the exact same issues, so I just had to return them both. So just a word of warning, if you do want the 4K of Donnie Darko, my player is a Panasonic UB820 for those that might have the same one, as apparently it's only on some particular players. But anyway, I found myself in a HMV shortly afterwards, and I managed to get this one at a steal of only £5. It was the only Arrow title for such a low price, which obviously suited me perfectly, so I grabbed it and yeah, had a great time revisiting it. Just as mysterious, quirky, dark and intriguing as I remembered. Then we've got Memento, one that I managed to pick up just for a few pounds on eBay. I've got the DVD of this one, and it's one that I've been wanting to upgrade to Blu-ray for a little while now. Hopefully, one of these days we can get a 4K of it. That'd be lovely. But I watched recently Red Planet, the film about Mars from 2000, which also has Carrie-Anne Moss. And despite that film being quite average, though honestly I really quite enjoyed it, it made me want to revisit some more of Carrie-Anne Moss's films, and so I thought this would be a perfect time to get Memento. So really looking forward to seeing this one again. Next is Underwater, which actually has no UK Blu-ray release at all, so I was very happy to get hold of this one. Interestingly, I really did not like this film when I saw it previously. It has a fantastic premise and setup, and I was thoroughly engaged until the story just went off the deep end and the film really kind of flopped for me, which I thought was just such a shame. It had really been giving me Alien vibes. Think of Alien meets The Abyss, and that's the sort of story setup that we've got here, and together that should be absolutely brilliant. But in any case, again, it's another one that's been on my mind that I'd like to revisit as well, just in case it's better than I remember, which I'm really hoping it is. Another absolutely fantastic cast on this one with Kristen Stewart and Vincent Cassel. Then on to more titles from Plain Archive. The first one here is Train to Busan. This might just be the best zombie film that I've ever seen. It is absolutely excellent in every way. Action-packed, incredibly thrilling, and exciting and terrifying, sort of all in equal measure. This one also has Seoul Station, which you can see there and on the back here, which is the animated feature that I think Train to Busan was based on. Getting more into Plain Archive titles, once I saw they had released this, I just had to track it down. It was not cheap, but my goodness, it was absolutely worth it to have such a great film in such great packaging. And the steelbook also kind of glows in the dark. If you can kind of make out that print there, it's supposed to be a hand. There's one on the front and one on the back there as well, which is, it's kind of a cool little feature. And then we've got Only Lovers Left Alive, a film from Jim Jarmusch. Quick question, is it Jim Jarmusch or Jim Jarmusch? Because I never have any idea. Maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway, this is one that I had a great time with when I saw it a while back. Both Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston are absolutely brilliant together. And you've got a great supporting cast, like obviously we're used to with lots of Jim Jarmusch's films, including John Hurt. It's an existential vampire film about centuries-old lovers, which might sound insane, but it is absolutely brilliant. This is one that was going for crazy money, brand new, but again, it's one that I managed to track down second-hand for not an outrageous price at all. So absolutely delighted to have this one as well. And then that leads me very nicely onto the last pickup I have here, which is a Jim Jarmusch collection from Art House, which is sort of Studio Canal in Germany. I think I'm right in saying that Studio Canal bought Art House, and then as that brand had sort of name recognition in Germany, they kind of continued to use that name. But it is pretty much exactly the same as the other Studio Canal box sets that I've got. Getting Lovers Left Alive really got me thinking about Jim Jarmusch's films again. And I recently also watched The Dead Don't Die, which is definitely not his best, but again had me thinking about wanting to see more of his films that I haven't already seen. I've been wanting to watch Night on Earth, which is where this front cover is taken from, for ages now, but I'm not even sure there is a release of it in the UK. There is a US Criterion edition, but it's just not very cheap to import. As chance would have it, this box set, which I think was very recently released, maybe even just earlier this year, actually has almost all of his films that I don't already own, except Down by Law, which I do have the Criterion of. I have previously seen Coffee and Cigarettes and Ghost Dog, both of which I absolutely loved. So yeah, really, really excited to finally be able to check out some of his other films, especially the ones that are not so readily available in the UK. And so that brings us to the end of the video and some of the best things that I've picked up during April and May. Definitely a higher number of previous watches than is usual for me in what I buy, as I've been finding myself spending a lot of time revisiting films that I've already seen, particularly during the last few months. But there's still a good number of films that I've yet to watch, ready to explore here as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.